Hey, it's Melanie. I hope you're doing well. Happy Thanksgiving. I'm coming to you with a video live from my little getaway here. I wanted to talk about something that's fresh on my mind. I apologize for all the noise. Hopefully I can cancel that out for y'all. But I wanted to talk about the power of forgiveness. Okay? Sometimes in our lives, we're brought into those situations where we're hurt and we don't know why we're being hurt. We don't understand what we did to deserve that hurt or that pain. The pain caused by another human being is the worst pain you can encounter, because it takes two people with emotions and the capability of feeling in order to cause such pain. And sometimes we misunderstand the fact that just because you wouldn't do something to someone, that doesn't mean that other people think and feel the same way. I encountered that my entire life, never understanding why I was never reciprocated with the type of love that I felt everyone deserved. It doesn't matter your race, ethnicity, sex, gender, age, none of that mattered. And I think that's why I fell in love with a man twice my age and gave him all of me. You don't really truly understand why God brings these things into your life, especially if you're honest and true and you give with all of your heart, all of your being, and it's not reciprocated. And that makes your heart hard when you don't know how to cope, when you have so much empathy to give and it's just sucked right out of you. And it doesn't happen all at once. It's a progression, a slow deterioration of everything you knew. I recall my mother telling me when I was very small the type of love and empathy I had for other children in my life. At that time, I was starting kindergarten, and when you're in kindergarten, it's your first time being around a massive amount of people, right? Unless you grew up in different situations. I apologize. Got some company over here. Anyway, it's a massive change in your life, especially being a very sheltered child. I grew up in a household that was built around faith, a religious faith that was very much segregated in the thoughts of truth. It boxed me into a thought process that I was different, that I could not be like anyone else, which in retrospect is probably a good thing now that I see that, yes, I was not like everyone else, but as a child, you don't understand that type of isolation. And then on the other hand, I was brought up in an environment where I was protected and loved and cared for in ways that most children never had. And for that, I am eternally grateful for that love and compassion. But that being said, I always felt like I was different and I wanted to help the other children. And I remember my mother saying there was this boy that was crying when she would take me to school. There was this boy named, I think his name was Michael. I cannot be certain. But this boy, he was like me, and all I wanted to do was hold him and comfort him, just like my baby dolls that I took to school with me every day. Yeah. And then I also have memories of being so afraid to exist that I would hide underneath my desk in the dark while everyone else was outside playing and having fun. Not really certain much more of that, but the isolation was real. The feelings of not belonging were real. But what I knew was real was my compassion and empathy for humanity, despite the segregation, despite the outcast feeling and judgment that was placed upon me. I was removed within my environment during holiday parties and celebrations. I wasn't allowed to celebrate my birthday or anyone else's. But I had a grandmother who always made me a birthday cake. And she brought it over no matter what my parents said. She was that person who still acknowledged me. Other people did, but they didn't want to say it out loud. It was wrong. It was wrong. To them, it was wrong. And other people follow suit because they don't understand and they just want to keep the peace. So today I honor the grandmother that loved me unconditionally, who saw my worth, who, despite what she saw happening, she still gave. I miss her dearly. And I do have some mementos and lots of very fond memories of this woman. She was definitely opinionated. Family, you know who I'm talking about. This hot tub is hot in today. She was the matriarch, the pillar of the family. She was a nurse that gave until her body could no longer give. And then she still gave to her family. Despite her physical disabilities. She lived well into her 90s with a type of humanity that formed who I am. And I do know that she still influences all of her family, especially on these holidays where we would celebrate in her home. The house that built us, yeah, it's beautiful. So here's to you, Grandma Bauman, and to my grandfather, who I never got to spend time with. The love of her life, she never remarried. And Papa held me as a baby, and then he passed away. But I know he's still here. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family, and wherever you are and whatever you're doing. Being grateful and thankful in your heart and in your soul. That's the meaning of Thanksgiving. Whether together or apart. You're never alone. Love and light.